We're going to look at a couple of your homework problems, and we're going to start with this one up here on the top, exercise 8 through 11. I'm not going to do them all, I'm just going to do a little bit of it to get you started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to read all these words up here. A lot of things going on, but I'm going to just do it in part. So let's cover up everything below that first sentence and just look at the first sentence. So I read that S is between T and V. So that means I'm going to have a point T and I'm going to have a point V on my line. And where is S? In between there. So I have my line, and I'm going to put my S somewhere there. I don't know where it is exactly, I just know it's between. So that's my first one. Then I have R is between S and T. Well, between S and T would be here, so R has to be there. So all I have S between T and V, yes. I have R between S and T, yes. And now I need to have T is between R and Q. Well, here's T and here's R. So if T is in between R and Q, that means Q has to be somewhere over here. So now T is between R and Q. Okay, so let's look at the first bit of information they've given us besides drawing a line. You have to draw the line or you're not going to be able to figure it out. I know QV, the distance of QV is 18. Well, that's the distance between this point and this point. So that's the whole segment. That's 18. That whole segment is 18. Okay. What other information do they give us? They tell us that QT is 6. So QT, the distance between here, is 6. So I'm going to write this like this. Show that distance up above. Now they give me something else that's interesting. They tell me that TR is equal to RS and it's equal to SV. All those distances are equal. Well, I didn't draw them equal, did I? No, I didn't. So it's not to scale. But I have to understand that this equals this equals this. Those are all the same distance. Okay? So now what I've done is I've done the sketch that they asked me to do. That's what my sketch looks like. This little tally and this little tally and this little tally all mean that these are equal distances. So let's look at the first question. They want us to find RS, okay? Well, before I can find RS, I need to know what this segment is right here. So this segment here has some length, okay? So if I know that this whole thing is 18 and this little bit is 6, how do I find this distance right here? Well, we learned today that if I take the difference, if I say 18 minus 6, I get 12. So that means this entire distance here is 12. I'm going to write that up here. This entire distance up here is 12. Now let's check it. Does 6 plus 12 equal 18? Yes, it does. So now I'm charged with the task to find this distance right here. I don't know what it is. I'm going to call it X. But I know that this distance right here is the same, isn't it? So I can also call that x. And I also know that this distance right here is the same distance, so I can call that x. Even though it doesn't look the same, you have to tell your brain it is the same. Okay? That's the same distance as this and this. It's just not drawn to scale. So essentially, I'm taking this distance of 12 and I'm dividing it up into 3 equal sections, aren't I? Right. So that means if I take my 12 and I divide it up into 3 equal sections, I should be able to figure out the length of x. And in fact, I can, because 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that means this distance of TR is 4, the distance of RS is 4, and the distance of SV is also 4. Well, let's check our work. Does 4 plus 4 plus 4 equal 12? It does. So I know that the distance RS is equal to 4. So since we found all of our sections, all of our little segments here, we can find what QS is. Well, let's look. QS is this part right here. So that's easy because we know what each of the sections is. And then same with TS. We know what each of those sections is, so we can figure that out. So that's how you would solve that problem.